Once, this stretch of ocean off Louisiana was the domain of pirate patriot Jean Lafitte. Today, petroleum production platforms twinkle in the dawn's early light. Also called oil rigs, the platforms send slender pipes deep into the earth in search of oil and natural gas.
Offshore production platform leg sections, or jackets, are gigantic structures which are assembled on their sides on shore. There's more than an acre of hard steel surface, or potential reef, in even a medium-sized platform. For all their giant size, they still contain small protected areas that will serve as refuge for tiny future residents. Each completed platform jacket is painstakingly winched along rails onto a very large barge. The barge and its cargo are then towed to the site of the platform's permanent home. After the jacket is launched from the barge, the platform floats on its side due to air trapped in all the tubular steel. Giant cranes right it and set it carefully in position with its legs standing in the sea bottom. Deck sections to house people and contain equipment are placed on top of the jacket, and this miracle of modern technology stands ready to begin the work for which it was designed.
But an even greater miracle takes place in the waters underneath the rigs. There, Mother Nature and man's technology meet, and a miracle of life is acted out. Beneath the rigs are enormous scaffolds anchored to the sea floor, perhaps hundreds of feet below. Their huge steel cylinders hold the crew's quarters, drilling equipment, and pollution control systems safely above the waves. The scaffolds also hold the secret to the miracle of life we are about to witness. All around us, enormous steel columns soar upward to the sun and surge, and disappear into the darkening waters below. It is as though we were drifting weightless through the Eiffel Tower or the unfinished skeleton of a tall skyscraper. But in reality, we are within a magnificent aquarium without walls. The huge skyscraper serves as a reference point for migratory fish that visit it periodically in search of food. For its permanent residents, the aquarium offers shelter from currents, storms, and predators. And yet, like a forest, it is a habitat of passages and open spaces. Fish, microscopic plankton, and nutrients pass through it freely. The steel framework also provides acres of hard surface on which vast armies of sea creatures can grow. The attached organisms are an important food source for many of the permanent residents. Our lights transform muted grays and browns into living palettes of color. These sponges can grow as big as a basketball. Some of them are overgrown by fiery red sponges. Thousands of tiny sea squirts filter microscopic plants from the seawater. Some organisms are so small they can be seen clearly only under a microscope. All kinds of corals soon stake out claims. They are stony fortresses by day, but at night they become colonies of busy translucent tentacles as the coral animals emerge to feed. Sometimes it looks like a Caribbean highway in the middle of rush hour. Butterfly fish, spotfin and Spanish hogfish, Creole fish, scrawled filefish, a sheep's head, perhaps doing a strange mating dance. And of course, triggerfish. All are are denizens of the Gulf of Mexico's steel reefs. Laws and treaties require that the platforms be removed once they have ceased producing oil and gas. Once, that meant taking the rigs apart and hauling them ashore for scrap. But many people felt that was a horrible waste of a valuable and irreplaceable resource. Though in the early 1980s, several oil companies donated and sank a few rigs as artificial reefs off Florida. The experiments worked so well that in 1987, Louisiana enacted an artificial reef program to ensure that part of this vital oil rig ecosystem will remain long after the oil is gone, helping to preserve the state's multi-million-dollar sport fishing and diving industries. The bill had broad support.
Artificial reef legislation recently enacted by Texas provides a means of keeping these valuable reefs and waters off its shore. Hopefully, we will see the day when selected platforms are left standing for use as marine laboratories, completely surrounded by underwater steel reef habitats.